What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you all so much, as always. Happy hump day. Welcome to Wednesday. Let's take a look at the astrology for this Wednesday. Big thing, of course, we saw it yesterday was Mercury opposed Mars. And here we are with Venus in that opposition to Mars at 18 degrees. Of course, this Mars is retrograde, having us kind of, not be so impulsive with our thoughts. This is interesting with relationships. We could definitely see some battles go on, but it is our values. And Venus here in Sagittarius definitely it really wants to go on the adventure with people. It really wants to be able to, in the opposition to Mars, find an identification of truth, especially in this truth axis of Gemini and Sagittarius. So, what it really comes down to in a lot of ways in our life is, of course, people and relationship energy, but our values, and are they in alignment with our truth? Are we showing up and creating these things? Venus is the dispositor of the North Node in Taurus, right? The moon is going to be in Pisces, of course. It's going to be making great aspects to these nodes while simultaneously being in a first core square with the sun at 8 degrees. So it's definitely it's a pretty loaded day, pretty intense. And a lot of it is about understanding your truth about what you're creating. And I think really the more you understand the possibilities, because it is Sagittarius season, we do have Jupiter direct in Pisces. The more you understand how universal you are and how much you're capable of, and that you can do things. This Mars retrograde is like, well, can I change this? Can I, identify with this thought that I had? Does this thought make sense? We got the trine to Saturn. We've got Venus building up, which it'll be exact tomorrow, but in that sextile to Saturn, Saturn's sextiling the midpoint of Mercury and Venus. So I think Saturn is really, our biggest saving grace in many ways right now, because you just gotta step up. You gotta be a man, you gotta be a woman, and know who you are and know what your truth is. And there could be battles. There could be people having different values, different beliefs, different visions, different journeys. A lot of these things, and there's no one way. There's no, sure, we could get all morally just and say oh, this is right, this is wrong. But you know what? Right now, it's just doing the best you can to pave a path forward for a life you want to live. And, that's the astrology these days. And I think that today's no different. And I think that it is intense, and we could definitely see, opposing forces and people trying to force their truth, force their belief. Because, you know what? Anybody that's trying to convince anybody of what to believe or what the way is in this astrology, it's because they don't know their own truth. They're indoctrinated into whatever a belief is that isn't even their own. So you're seeing people that are really strong right now that are finding a lot of intuitive action to create, to manifest, because they're channeling something bigger. They know who they are. They're connected, and that's what this moon in Pisces is really all about, especially with Juno. So we have interesting relationship aspects when you think about it, right? Like Venus with Mercury, Venus opposing Mars, Venus sextile Saturn, and a moon with Juno. It is this Mars that's over identification right now with anything that isn't subjective. Here's the thing. It's good to be subjective and then have your truth, but if you have to force feed it to somebody, it's not in alignment. And that's where we're finding today that we're really looking for our own alignment within ourselves, and how to trust that, and how to surrender that it's okay that somebody else would want to do something different. It's okay that another person would want to create something else, be with someone else. It's interesting. The moon's going to make good aspects to the South Node in Scorpio with a trine. Juno's in a trine to the South Node. We can definitely attach to people and things right now that are on a similar truth, on a similar path, on the same journey. We have to be able to let go and not obsess that somebody in our life or somebody in the universe that is on a TV or something has a different opinion. Like, today's definitely like a surrender, let go, like let things be. That moon square the sun in Sag. You know, look at all this mutable energy, right? It's intense. And even by the end of the night, we're going to get really close to the moon squaring Mars, but that'll be tomorrow morning, as it meets with Neptune as well. Everybody has a truth. Everybody has an opinion. It's exactly as it's meant to be. You don't have to force anything right now. You don't have to force your opinion. I think that this is great for debate. Like, if you can get in if you can be in a disagreement with someone, but you can have a talk about it, and then come out on the other end like, well, that's your opinion. Yeah, that's my opinion. Okay. Like, you'll find so much, you know, I don't know, you'll just feel like you're more connected to your own self, and that you're not so attached to what somebody else thinks or believes, because that is also where we can get lost with the South Node in Scorpio, is everybody else's psychology, their emotions, what they're into. Like, there's so much that we can focus on and use this energy in a positive way for building really solid relationships, really solid structure in our own lives and just within our own soul. So definitely, you know, today it has like a very dogmatic energy to it. It has a little bit of aggression to it. But man, if we could see both sides here, with Mercury still in that sextile to Saturn, being the dispositor of Mars retrograde in Gemini, you know, if we can debate and see both sides and be alchemical and hermetic and find middle ground, because Mercury can go both ways. It's not so, you know, stuck in one way. And I think that that's really where things are at right now. And if we're able to do that, we're going to expand things in our life, and we're going to open up creativity in unbound ways, especially with the moon in Pisces. But this is where people can pull on your emotional strings. You know, feelings can get hurt easily in Pisces, especially by another person if they're putting down something that you believe deeply in. And remember that, like, think about Sagittarius. Jupiter has 79 moons. Like, people are very emotional about what they believe in. Saturn in Aquarius here too is definitely a disconnect. You got to be able to disconnect and not get so attached to anything right now. If somebody believes something different, they believe something different. Don't get so attached to what somebody should do. That's the other thing with the Pisces energy, is thinking that everything has to be perfectly in order. Like, everything is exactly as it's meant to be. Everything is in order. That person's exactly where they're supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. It doesn't have to be some kind of brutal beatdown, you know, on each other. So that's, you know, I would say that's the big warnings for today, is like to avoid these beatdowns, because there's an integrity within our soul that's realizing that everybody can have a belief. Beliefs are powerful. Use your beliefs to envision something positive about what you can take the action and authority in your life to create. And with the sun on Antares today and tomorrow, I mean, really the next 3 days, but because it is at 10 degrees now, because of the precession of the equinox. But when everybody watching this channel was born, it was at 9 degrees. So the sun's right there on the heart of the Scorpion, the big red giant. And there's a ruthlessness to that star. And people can be ruthless right now. We don't have to be, though. We can be very compassionate, open, seeing the bigger picture, objective, understanding that through our objectivity, everybody has a subjective truth and opinion. But, you know, we can also get lost in the frustrations and the obsessions that somebody or something has to act or show up exactly as we want it to. That would be the detriment of today, is to think that, you know, everybody and everything in the world is going to have the same belief or opinion or journey or direction as you. It's simply not the case. And yeah, it can definitely get people in sensitive places today. I feel like tongues can be sharp, words can be sharp, but, you know, got to have that spiritual body armor also. All right. Appreciate you guys. Definitely a day. Definitely a day. But as with anything, we can always make a day good, right? And I think it is by avoiding arguments over some dogmatic approach to life, but the freedom, for everybody to live in their own unique way and to be in your unique self, to know your truth, to be able to adapt and change your truth when information presents itself. And that's life. We're always growing. Things are always changing and evolving. You don't have to believe the same thing forever either. We can change beliefs. It happens all the time. But it is definitely like staying positive and staying kind and finding a happiness in life, even if people are at your throat because you think something should be a certain way that they don't think it should be. It's got like it's very like politically correct, right? Oh, you have to be very politically correct and go with what the narratives are in life. Like, you don't. If you don't feel that that's your truth, you don't have to do it. And that goes into all these other different areas of your life that today could manifest and show you, another similar situation. 10 of Wands in reverse. I feel like we all know there's weight that needs to be dropped, and maybe it's just the weight to avoid conflict or to avoid situations that make us feel like the world is against us or everything's just kind of beating us down and that everything's so heavy in life. We got to really figure out too, I think, how to laugh things off and just be in that surrendered state that like, oh yeah, the universe is working. It showed this to me today. Like, okay, I'm not just going to wear this weight. Like I feel like we want to put too much on our own shoulders that doesn't have anything to do with us, like the opinion or belief of someone else. Judgment. Upright. Could be a judgment day, huh? Maybe today's a big test for all of us, and maybe God's kind of playing that playing that trumpet, trying to guide us, but it's definitely going to show us things that might have us, have to make choices that really do resurrect us into a higher, place and I guess a more mature and spiritually mature place to not get sucked into things that really don't have anything to do with us. Follow this moon in Pisces, even though it's square the sun. I mean, this is a very, holy first quarter square in many ways with the sun in Sagittarius and a moon in Pisces. This is like, this is God's territory. So go where, it's like make the universe proud today and make yourself proud and don't do anything or get into situations that, don't feel like they're of a bigger calling. It's almost like our ego just wants to get its point across right now. And it doesn't even know what that necessarily is at the same time. I'll pull up Major Arcana for the final card. Strength? Yeah, I mean, I think that we always want to be strong and we always want to be courageous. And you know what? Sometimes, and even with the astrology right now, the courageous move is to not push a belief or opinion. It's just to accept, like, oh, well, we're on different pages and walk away. We don't have to carry some weight of something that doesn't even, I don't know. I feel like we're going to have some weird conversations today, I'll be honest. And the strength to take the higher road, I think is where it's at. So, but also getting that card, I feel like people are gonna, you know, we could see people push their strength onto other people or be overbearing. So it's got that energy too. But we'll see how it manifests for all of us in our daily lives. I appreciate you all very much. Thanks for being here with me. Hope you have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.